Hey guys, Lancer here. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks again for joining me while looking to some more MTG market makers or market movers for the last 2 weeks, actually. And what's been happening? A lot's been happening, especially when it comes to this market. I think we're going to have to, I don't know, predicting outside of what normally happens in the stock market. I think what we need to keep an eye on for the magic market is how many people bought these cards and need to sell them. That's actually the biggest question: is how many people bought this card and need to sell them, and is it going to get worse? So, what am I talking about? Over the last 2 weeks, actually for longer than that, we've been mentioning that as interest rates go up, money becomes worth more than what it was over the last 2 years. The reason why everyone went in 2020, around about June, and where the market is now is mostly because of the fear of what the value of money is. Now, an interesting idea is the value of money has overall decreased by 40% of what it used to be, let's say in June of 2020. That means that a car that was worth around about $400 should be worth 40% of 400. God, I can't do the maths, but it's probably something around about, $180 or something. So add to whatever it was average in July of 2020, 436, and you add 180 to that, and you get, what is it, $610. That's probably where we can see the markets going towards. So this is a volcanic island, obviously, but we'll have a look at what we can get it for. Heavily played, $569. Market actually does look like it's gone up over the last couple of days. And you can see a moderately played is $653, and near mint is 725, which is actually, I think that's better price than when I bought it, maybe. Then again, I was paying Australia AUD prices, and back then it was actually pretty shit. No, God, did I overpay? Anyway, getting back to it. So moderately played $714, $653. I wouldn't get the heavily played. A near mid for 725 actually doesn't sound too bad, even in this market right now. So that's kind of the idea that I'm having is we've still got probably further downside. We're not seeing, I mean, in Australia, in the US, in Europe, and everywhere else, we're not seeing a massive like letting go of firing of people. That's probably the next domino to drop if that actually goes through and happens. If that doesn't happen, then what I'm expecting is that the price decline will continue for the next couple of months, but very slowly. And what I meant by that is right now we can do the maths again, 720, $244. So we're adding about, I don't know, $90 to that, so $330. And we're right now sitting at 415. Is it going to drop down to 330? Probably not. That might be a bit too fair, but what I'm saying is, add 40% onto the car that was worth in July of 2020, and that's probably where the market is going to settle, assuming that everyone that bought in didn't leverage it. So, what price can we get a Badlands for? $415, moderately played for $293, lightly played for 368, a near mid for 412. Actually, a moderately played for $293 actually doesn't sound too bad again. This is going back to what it was in 2020 and what feels like pretty fast. So next one, Bayou. Looks like there's a bit of a dip starting at this point right now, um, making a new lower low. Let's have a look. Yeah, new lower low to a certain point, $519 market price. You can get a near mid for 455. Near mint buyers, I might prefer the unlimited ones in the future going forward because they have a bit more vibrant colors. But near mint Bayou revised edition for that price, once again, doesn't look too bad. It's best to understand that these prices will continue to stabilize lower than where they are even now. That's important to remember. So you got a plateau that stopped plateauing on the average in the last, I don't know, what is that, 2 weeks pretty much. So interesting times. Uh, yeah, very interesting. Look at that big drop off, 341 to 320, and you got a lightly play for $292. These are starting to sound like the numbers I got them for in 2020. Now the only thing is, at least from my side, is the exchange rate better or worse? I think it might actually be worse because I think that was a big spike down for the Australian dollar, but then we zoomed straight up to like 75 or 80. And I think I might have gotten lucky and bought it at that time. And now we're at 64, so I'm losing 15%. It's maths is hard. Moving over to Savannah. Once again, TCG player says 299 average. Actually, not that bad. Big drop off, lightly played for $319. Near mint for 329. You pretty much want to get lightly or near mint at this prices. Scrublands, moving over to moderately played for $301, obviously dropping for the last couple of weeks and longer. And we're no longer looking at 999s or 9,999 with one copy left. There isn't many listings, and I'm wondering if that's because they're trying to slowly trickle out the inventory that's out there. But yeah, it's really cutting it close for what the prices are to the listing. I would have thought that with the listings being so low in numbers, the pricing might have held up, but it doesn't seem to be the case because people might just be putting their money somewhere else and they can't buy these even if they are a decent price compared to what they were like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. Moving over to Tiger. Tiger had a bit of a bounce back. What we can get lightly played for $318. Plenty more listings for this one. Look at that, 15. And yet this price is actually quite a bit above what I would have expected. Moderate play for 265 isn't too bad. Still feels a bit on the high end. Tundra, once again, dropping off in MTG stocks. Moving over to TCG player. What can we get a Tundra for? $437. Lightly played for $459. Not bad. Tropical Island, massive drop off. Look at that, $1,000 average. Now sitting at 582. TCG player says 419. Heavily played for 401. Would not. Damage for 445. Lightly played for 474. Pretty good. A near mint for $548. Not bad as well. And Underground Sea also continuing the downward trend. I'll have to see if Rudy's made a update video on this because currently I think the market's behaving far more rationally than what it was 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, but for very good reasons. It was behaving irrationally back then. When the head of the money manager, Jerome Powell, comes out and says we printed digitally, when it comes to money, that does scare people quite a bit. Gets them a bit of a sticker shock and says, wait, shouldn't everything now be free then? Or worth nothing? And then they go and buy stuff. Now it's a bit more, in Australia, I don't know about the US, and you guys can let me know, but in Australia, they have interest rates for a savings account at 4.05%, risk-free up to $250,000. That's crazy. That hasn't happened for the last 3, maybe even 4 years. So is it worth it? I don't know. Depends on if you're beating S&P, houses, even currency that's just sitting against the USD. But it's risk-free to a certain point, and it gets you a decent return. If you're going to buy a house for $400,000 and instead you put $400,000 into a bank account with 4.05%, you're going to get almost a rent payment, but taxable, which is the hardest part if you're going to get around it, but it's not bad. Underground Sea, sorry, I was getting distracted. Underground Sea, moderate played for $613. Moving over to what do we have for the standard weekly changes? Biggest gains, Gold Collar of Nefla, Seraph, the Vipers, Bang, Lisa, Forgotten Archangel, sure, Catilda, Dawnheart, Mata. Yep, so 90% gain, for Jeddah, 50% gain for Sereth. These aren't really expensive cards. Like Laisa is $3.48 and had 11% gain. Catilda is $2.52 and had a 15% gain. Big Score is 28% gain, but 96 cents card. It's a good card, but it's just it's not like they're massive drops, massive gains, and the biggest drops are not that impressive either. Liliana has obviously been consistently dropping since she's come out in the new set. 6% drop for the week and sitting at $31.55. And this is the okay looking Liliana, not the full-on granny version of it. The Wandering Emperor, 4% dropped and I sit at $26. Timeless Lotus, a 4% dropped and I sit at $19.99. This card is not good. I'll just come out and say it. You don't need it, and it's too slow, and it takes up a slot. It doesn't draw your card, and it doesn't properly fix your mana unless you're playing a proper 5-color deck. And if you're playing a proper 5-color deck, it takes up a slot that you don't really need. And to use it properly, you're going to have to add cards that tap and untap stuff. In the end, it just doesn't feel worth it. So Timeless Lotus probably should be $5, $10 card, unless it's been really limited printed. And if it has been really limited printed, you probably don't need it desperately in a Commander deck. Sarah Paragon, 15%, now dropping down by 4%. Shieldred dropping down by 1%, now sitting at $50. So nothing to see there at all. Liliana, just want to do a quick check. She started off at around about $50+. Now she's sitting at $31. Probably going to sit at $25 soon. And let's have a look at the previous Liliana, just one that I'm picking. This is the Modern Masters 2017 one. Still dropping. Is it going to hold price? It's tricky. Just been reprinted, different copies. One of them doesn't look as bad as the other one. There is the granny version, which I'm assuming will be even cheaper. So if people really want to get a cheap, legit version of Liliana, they can probably pick it up for like $20, $25. If you like the art for this one, they're probably never going to print it again. Does that make it special? A lot of people seem to think so, and do I agree with it? I do agree that art that is not going to be reprinted on a card does give it a unique value, but in a market like this, if you're going to play it to win prizes and stuff, I'd probably just pick the cheapest version, because there's no denying that they will print a better version of Liliana for Jund in the future, if that makes sense. She might still have a place, but the way that it works is they had to print better and better cards, and at some point Liliana is probably going to be okay, but not the best for Modern. Moving and Pioneer, I guess, now that she's been printed in a set. And Standard. Seriously, she is dropping in value like crazy for them being included in Standard, Pioneer, and Modern. So yeah, would not pick it up unless you're picking it up once per, let's say, 2 week, and speculating that it might go up in price at some point in the future. Moving over to the weekly change for Modern. Prince of Thralls gaining by 37% and now set at $9.65. Polluted Delta, 9% gain to now set at $26.41. Ad Nauseam, 15% gain to now set at $13.83. Reki, the Historian of Kamigawa, 14% gain to now set at $14.31. And Realms Uncharted, an 18% gain to now sit at $11.13. Nothing really above 10% gains. The biggest drops, Reflecting Pool, 12% drop to now sit at $14.91. Everything else, we already know what's on this list. Most of these things are in the new Double Master set. And any of them that aren't, they're just dropping because they were already such high value. But a lot of these, Kozilek, Blightsteel, I don't know if Blightsteel was there, Concentrated Sphinx, Parallel Lives is dropping, but very limited. A lot of these were very highly priced as well. Moving over to Pioneer, Hollowed Moonlight at 273% gain to Nasdaq at $3.93. Sky Sovereign Console Flagship at 51% gain to Nasdaq at $4.90. And Rending Wally at 35% gain to Nasdaq at $6.17. Days Undoing, 16% gain to Nasdaq at $9.84. Rakdos, Lord of the Pits, a Lord of Riots, 12% gain to Nasdaq at $7.63, and Dragonlord Colligan, 11% gain to sit at $8.17. Biggest drops, 14% drop to Billis Broker of Blood. Everything else is pretty limited. You got Emrakul, Indomitable Creativity, Old Noble, 7% drop to Nasdaq at $32. Crazy. Not a procession. Polyraptor, 8% drop to Nasdaq at $15.24. And Oval the All Form, 7% drop to Nasdaq at $14.25. Is he worth $14.25? He's good, and he is a mythic, but maybe not $14.25. He's spiked up because of a few mentions on YouTube, but I think a price point for him now would be see if he can hold above $10. Okay, anyways, guys, sorry for the late or getting back to this pretty late. See if you guys like the video. What am I thinking for the future? Interest rates are going to go up in the US, Australia, worldwide. Probably a decent amount still left to go. Make sure that you don't over leverage, don't borrow. Try to see if you can get a good savings account online and see if you can get that cash working for you again instead of trying to buy things that work for you instead and make it a bit more risky. We'll see if the Federal Reserve actually learns from their mistakes and see if the government's put back on spending. If they do both of those things, the value of money should go up. Anyways, thanks for watching and have a good day. See ya.